Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down complex ideas from fascinating source materials. Today, we're diving into a really unique spiritual perspective on how to handle tough times in the family. So here's the scenario. It's a tough one, right? A family is in a financial bind, and the husband ends up having to move in with his wife's parents. I mean, a lot of people can probably relate to that pressure. But the source material we're digging into today, it points the finger at a very specific and honestly pretty surprising root cause. And here it is. A family's failure and economic hardship is not the man's fault, it is the woman's fault. Whoa. Okay, that is a huge statement. It's provocative for sure, and it's right at the heart of this whole philosophy. So before we jump to conclusions, let's try to unpack the logic behind a claim like that. All right, so to really get our heads around this, here's our game plan. We'll start by looking at how the problem is diagnosed in the first place. Then we'll get into this idea of a cosmic energy system that explains the why behind it all. After that, we'll check out the practical solutions offered, like the 3-year in-law plan, a rule for family fights, and finally, how all this is supposed to restore your fortune. Okay, first up, a family's problem. So let's get right to it. Why does the speaker put all the responsibility on the woman? What's the thinking here? All right, so according to this viewpoint, it's all about roles. The man's role is to have strength, to go out and work diligently at whatever he's given. But the woman's role? It's about wisdom. It's her job to skillfully manage everything that results from his work, the resources, the energy, all of it. So the argument isn't that the man isn't earning enough, not at all. The problem, as it's presented here, is about mismanagement of what's already there. And that, in this framework, falls under the woman's domain of wisdom. Now, this whole diagnosis, it's not just about who does what in the house. It's actually based on a much bigger, more spiritual idea about how the universe, or a divine power, hands out luck and energy in our lives. So they call it cosmic energy. Think of it like this: a divine resource, a certain amount of, let's call it life juice, that's given to you by a higher power. But here's the catch. Your actions, your choices, they determine whether you get the full 100% of that energy or if you're stuck with just a fraction of it. It's like we're all living in this sort of spiritual energy economy. And this is where it gets really practical. The lecture argues that if you've made some big mistakes in your life, your available energy gets slashed. You can see it here. You might only have access to, say, 30% of your total potential. And this is the absolute key. If you only have 30% of your energy, you're only going to get 30% of your potential money and success. You're basically running on fumes, and it's not random. It's a direct result of your past actions. Okay, so if you're stuck at 30%, how do you get back? What's so interesting here is that it's not a quick fix. The philosophy says, step 1, you have to accept your reality. Live within that 30% and stop complaining or blaming anyone. You have to look inward and reflect on your own faults. As you do this, the divine power is supposedly watching. It sees you're making an effort, that you're being humble, and then it might bump you up to 50%. You keep going with gratitude and you can climb back to 70% and eventually all the way back to 100. So how does this whole cosmic energy thing play out in a real-life situation? Let's go back to our guy living with his in-laws. The speaker offers a very specific step-by-step solution for him. It's called the 3-year plan. And it's incredibly precise. The argument is, if you follow this path of humility exactly, you can be back on your feet and independent in 3 years. No more, no less. Year 1 is all about humility and gratitude. You accept the situation, you thank your in-laws, and you basically use that time to study and reflect on where you went wrong. Year 2, things get harder. You're going to be tested, but you have to stay humble, no blaming. And by year 3, if you've done the work, you'll reemerge with this new inner strength and wisdom, totally ready to stand on your own again. And this is such a critical part of the plan, this idea of radical acceptance. The speaker is very clear. You will be tested. Your mother-in-law might say something that really gets under your skin. And what do? You don't fight back, you don't defend yourself, you just have to say, mother-in-law, I'm sorry. That humility, that act of taking it on the chin, is seen as the secret key to dissolving all that negative energy and starting to rebuild. And this really shows what the end goal is all about. This 3-year plan isn't just a financial strategy to save up rent money. No, it's about a complete personal transformation. The real prize here is that your own wisdom opens up. You build what the text calls neigong, this deep inner strength. You establish your own power. You're not just surviving, you're able to stand tall on your own 2 feet, stronger than before. Okay, so the next solution kind of builds on this same theme. It zeroes in on another classic family flashpoint, the conflict between a man's wife and his own mother.
The advice here could not be more blunt. Stay out of it. Completely. Don't interfere. Don't take your wife's side. Don't take your mother's side. The speaker says a man who jumps into that argument is ignorant and will just make everything 1,000 times worse. The only wise move? Quietly leave the house. Just go. Let them sort it out themselves.
And the logic, again, is all about protecting your own energy. When you jump into a fight you can't possibly win, you just absorb all that negativity. You're literally taking the, quote, burden of that conflict onto your own shoulders. It drains you, it depletes your cosmic energy. So this strategic retreat, it's not about being cowardly. It's presented as the smart way to guard your own peace and your own strength.
So when you step back, you see that all of this advice, being humble with the in-laws, staying out of family fights, it's all pointing in one direction. It all serves one ultimate goal: getting your cosmic energy back to full power.
And this is it. This is the destination. 100%. Every single act of humility, every moment of patience you endure, every time you wisely walk away from a fight, it's all designed to get you back to this state. And according to this philosophy, 100% isn't just a number. It means your life is back in flow. The money comes, you feel powerful in yourself, and there's harmony in your family.
So there you have it. We've walked through the core arguments from this particular spiritual teaching. The idea that hardship comes from mismanaging energy and that the way back is through humility and knowing when to step away. Is this a profound blueprint for finding harmony? Or is it a view that's rooted in outdated ideas about family roles? We've given you the context. Now you can decide for yourself.